At today, so we've got the S&P 500 bulls with a nice solid day. After hours, we've got earnings reactions on Google and Microsoft and a handful of other names. And initially, we've got some bearish reactions. So bulls win the trading day, following through with the inverse head and shoulders and the daily uptrend that we now have. And after hours, we can see that SPY is dropping a bit. So if we look at that on the futures chart, how big a drop are we seeing after hours? We can go to the 4-hour time frame and see that we're still in an uptrend on the 4-hour. We can go the hourly and see that we are currently testing the hourly midday support level that was established. We had a midday hourly bull flag that confirmed, and we are back testing that level. So it's looking like we may be shaping up for some more significant consolidation. And the question will be, can bulls form 4-hour higher lows to prevent from daily consolidation? And if we lose 4-hour supports, I'm looking at that as a higher low. I'm pretty much watching 4-hour EMA 12, this red line here. If we lose that level, then daily consolidation is going to be shaping up. If we hold that level, then it won't be. So you can see we still have a lot of space above that level, but we also are not done pulling back at the moment. So have to see how significant a bearish reaction we get here, but it is the NASDAQ, and it's a double top rejection. The NASDAQ closed, as we can see on QQQ, right at this daily resistance level of 284.18. And if we compare that to SPY, we can see this is the level that SPY had broken at 379. So SPY had followed through notably over that level, whereas the NASDAQ did not. So if we look at the NASDAQ on the 4-hour and we put up that resistance line on the daily chart, we can see it is a double top. Same thing though, we do still have a 4-hour uptrend. The hourly uptrend has clearly been lost, losing that midday support. And now it's all about the 4-hour. Can bulls shrug this off and form a 4-hour higher low? Or is this big enough of a buzzkill that we see daily consolidation shape up from here? We'll see what overnight brings. The dollar is still very weak. The dollar followed through with 4-hour lower highs and lower lows, rejecting from EMA 12 multiple times. And we're now, all sights are set on the dollar, weekly EMA 12 and 110.05 support, the previous weekly higher low. If 110.05 is lost, I'll have a hair in my mouth. If 110.05 is lost, we'll have the first weekly downtrend in the year, and it'll be very notable. It's already been notable as far as the size of the pullback, but still testing that support. We've also created some space now for the potential that a daily lower high is the result of the next bounce. So dollar support test is incoming, and earnings season's kicked off now. We've still got Apple and Amazon and Meta and a bunch of other big names Wednesday and Thursday of this week, but initially, bearish reaction. So I'm very curious to see how the significant dollar volume reacts to this for the broader market as a whole tomorrow after the bell rings. NIO. So Chinese names yesterday got smashed and then had a very significant bounce, and NIO is following through in a huge way. Off that low, we are up 26%, and no real hourly consolidation. Here we are seeing it now after hours with the weakness in the markets here. But we're going to look at anything above the low of today as an hourly higher low. I'm scouting a daily lower high in our Chinese names. Doesn't have to be tomorrow, doesn't have to be Thursday, but I'm watching for it on a daily basis. Because on NIO, anything under 1322 is just an hourly lower high, and that's 20% plus away. So I'm scouting daily EMA 12 resistance. I'm looking for signs of weakness on the hourly uptrends, and I look at BABA, and it's much weaker. This BABA bounce is a potential bear flag at this point. I don't think it's going to be a bear flag, but it still is that possibility because it's a fairly weak bounce at this point. Baidu, a bit stronger. So I would say out of these three, NIO the strongest bounce, Baidu middle of the road, and BABA is the weaker of the three. And scouting daily lower highs to be the result of this bounce sometime in the coming day or two. We can see Baidu right now is testing the low of the day and after hours. So again, I've got my bull mindset. I got my new bull positions from last week, but on a daily basis, I'm watching for red flags for the bulls, and I'm watching for bearish entries on favorable setups where I can say, this is the most likely scenario. And an example of that is I shorted NIO on the public live stream. Thanks for tuning in, all of you who did. So I shorted the top fishing playoff of $10 first thing on the morning. We pulled back 5%, well, 4% very quickly, and exited some position into profit, and then just stopped out with pretty much break even. It was a tiny bit red. I call that a taco loss. So it cost me some tacos, but a tiny loss when the bulls in the broader market proved their strength, I should say. But that's exactly the kind of setup that I'm looking for. A low risk, solid reward setup that I can put myself in looking for bearish positions, because again, I am more bull lean over the last handful of days. Tesla, daily bounce following through. Anything under 230 is a daily lower high. After hours, a little bit of a pullback, hourly support being tested. Again, have to see how it all settles and how we're opening tomorrow. But if we do see a break of 218, we can call that a little hourly lower high and lower low, and it would be the first step towards the potential of just another daily lower high being set. So bulls need to confirm a daily uptrend on Tesla if we're going to say that a shift in momentum is taking place, and bulls really want to break 230 to try and create the space for an eventual daily trend change to take place once we top out. SMH semiconductors. SMH, we've got daily grind continues, hourly uptrend continues, but after hours, semiconductors more prone to the bearish reaction to the NASDAQ, and at the moment, we are under the low of the day. So a notable shift in semiconductors after hours. Let's just look at that there. Let's look at NVDA after hours, notable drop, AMD. So everything that's more correlated to the NASDAQ is responding here notably. So SMH, we're going to be watching for the potential that daily consolidation begins tomorrow. If we break 187.07 after the bell rings, daily pullback underway, keeping in mind that we don't have an uptrend yet on the semiconductors. I'm viewing this all as the same bounce. We will need the clear pivot of higher low and higher high if we're going to get follow through from here. Healthcare, very nice follow through on the inverse head and shoulders. We're now looking at the gap fill of 130.13. We actually missed filling it by 1 penny today. And then 131.53 is the next level there. Look at after hours here. No reaction. Nothing really going on. Let's see if my Fidelity is still open. So I can see QQQ here is down $3.50, so over 1%. XLF is flat, and XLV is flat. IWM is flat. So all the sectors that aren't impacted by Google and Microsoft are just fine, which is why SPY is holding on much better than the NASDAQ, but obviously, we care about what the NASDAQ is doing. Bigger picture. So hourly uptrend is our guide on XLV. Little short-term support at 129.55. And again, that daily chart getting nice follow through. And we've got space now where the next time we pull back, we're looking for a daily higher low, which is exactly what the bulls want to see to try and maintain a daily uptrend. XLV also getting, or I should say XLF, financial sector, also getting a little bit of follow through. Not quite as convincing as the healthcare sector, but green is green. Bulls will take it. Next resistance, 33.28 from here. Hourly uptrend, short-term guide. IWM finally joined in. So a laggard inverse head and shoulders. SPY and QQQ confirmed it. IWM did so today. Pretty much to start the week, growth did not participate much at all in the green day on Monday, and growth played catch up today. And we had a significant move on IWM. We can see ARKK, which I look to for growth, had a very solid green day. PLTR, breakout day from a sideways range. These are all the growth names that I check in on. We have crypto. Look at crypto up big here. I gotta move my mic. So crypto's up big. Bunch of double-digit percentages. A lot of shorts covering in the crypto space as Bitcoin made a bull break of some key daily resistance levels. So really just seeing a lot of the growth names acting as laggards to yesterday's action. Biotech sector standing out today as well. I don't have a position in the biotech sector, so I hope we reject from resistance here and just continue to tighten up. Give me one more daily lower high compared to 82.29. Different number. It's, 82.96. So anything under 82.96 is a lower high. Give me one more of those and tighten up a little bit, and then we'll look for a break potentially next week. We'll have to see how it goes here. But if we lose the hourly uptrend, it's a daily lower high, and we will continue to tighten up. And this will be one of the tighter ranges that the biotech sector has seen in a while. Paying attention to that very closely. I know that I will be day trading the biotech sector a lot more when this tightening daily equilibrium gives us a break. Cannabis names up big today. CGC with news out. They are essentially getting their foot in the door in the U.S. markets. They had a company that they were looking to purchase. I haven't read the complete details of the deal. It's probably going to give me a headache if I do. But essentially, what the news is for me is Constellation Brands, big alcohol company, through CGC, now has some exposure into a holding company that has exposure in the U.S. So long story short, potentially a gateway for some bigger companies to get some piece of the action here in the U.S. Because again, if you're still on Schedule 1 and if you still have all these hurdles to get over, a lot of companies are just not going to touch it as long as that's the case. But CGC, huge bull day. Hourly consolidation taking place after hours with the market pullback. Tons of space for the hourly high or low. Bigger picture, still a ton of work to do. But 30%, 25% on the day certainly stands out, and the whole sector responded to it. But U.S. cannabis did not respond to it. Little bit of action in the morning, but a sell-off into the end of the day. And U.S. cannabis says, here we go again. Very frustrating. I tried to make an entry. As I mentioned yesterday, I sold when 1080 broke. So then the news comes out and, oh man, I want more position if we're going to get some follow through here. Grab some position at 1108 or 1109 today. Saw no follow through. And it was clear to recognize, look when we topped out. Look at the high of the day at 940. And then we pull back. No major red flags on this pullback. And then we double top at the high of the day. But 940 marks the high of the day. This is what CGC did from 940 until 2 p.m. Did nothing but go up. The broader market did nothing but go up. So I'm looking at that and saying, this is not at all what I wanted to see. And I exited break even. Just nope. This is, I don't need to feel FOMO. This is not running away without me. And if there were ever a time for bulls to follow through, it would be with the sector up and with the broader market up. But again, it's just bulls could not get it going. Had some psychedelic names seeing some strength. They are part of the growth names as well. Still no daily uptrend, so watching for signs of that. But long story short, growth names joining in on the bullish action today after sitting it out yesterday. Commodities still not really doing a whole lot. Gold is trying to form a daily high or low, as is silver. We have to confirm the daily trend change to believe that it can have any follow through. We look at XAGUSD and see it's a little bit stronger. Confirm the daily uptrend, and I'll be a believer. But again, right now, the way it played out is, we had SPY bulls break, and we then had the NASDAQ break a little bit behind it. We then had growth names and crypto follow. Commodities aren't following. Yes, they're going up, but not nearly in the same magnitude. XAUUSD divided by SPY shows us that we have relative weakness comparative to the S&P 500 for the last 2 weeks, and we are currently the weakest we have been compared to it in the last month plus. That's notable to me. I'm paying attention to that. That's showing me that gold is not participating in the market rally over the last week or so. Oil, still trying to set up a daily trend change. We have to change the daily trend to set a weekly high or low. We have to change the weekly trend for the convincing monthly high or low. If what I said just makes sense to you in your head, you're a good ways into your trading and technical analysis journey. It's the trends on each time frame and how they relate on the longer term time frame. So we need the daily trend change for the weekly high or low. We need the weekly trend change for the convincing monthly high or low. What do we need for a daily high or low? We need a 4-hour uptrend. It's just all these fractals of time frames looking to do the same thing as far as trends are concerned, but we need them one at a time. So we're on the daily to see if bulls can confirm a daily uptrend to try and shape all that up. And if we drop down and break 8130, the daily downtrend continues, and there will be no sign of a weekly trend change if that happens. Natural gas bounce follow through. Significant move off the lows. At this point, we're up about 15% plus. Very impressive for the bulls. And again, I'm watching the 12-hour at this point. I would have to be waiting for a higher low on the 4-hour or the 12-hour to be looking to get in. But just keep in mind, we can get extended in both directions. Extended on the way down, we can get extended on the way up. Watching 4-hour RSI, if it hits 70, that would potentially be a back burner where an aggressive bear is looking for a short if we go straight up into 4-hour overbought conditions from this point. But short-term uptrend intact. Very strong natural gas bounce. Really not really a very strong bounce, just absolutely decimated dump. And this is what happens when you go extreme in one direction or the other. That's what the Chinese names did as well. You get big bounces because the drop was so massive. So overall, we got to see how the NASDAQ settles into tomorrow. I'm watching the futures 4-hour time frame as a guide. I'm watching EMA 12. The futures 4-hour chart helped me this morning, saying, okay, we're down a little bit this morning, but we're still in 4-hour uptrends. We still got EMA 12. So that for me is heading into the morning saying the burden's on bears. Bears have to prove to me that daily consolidation is going to take place by losing this strong 4-hour uptrend. And they did not do that. But we'll see how we're open tomorrow. And we'll see if the NASDAQ has 4-hour EMA 12 support still holding at that point in time. All right. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in to the public live stream this morning. Those of you that did. That's all we got. Do good things. It's certainly worth it to have the water features, but it does require a lot of work. Twice every single day I come down here and clear out where the water comes in to the pond, and then I clear out where the leaves get all trapped up in the PVC pipe that goes to the other pond, and then I clear up the other PVC pipe that's the exit back to the creek again, because if I don't, everything gets all jammed up. And also you have all the muck that's created from all the leaves that just keep falling in the pond, and eventually you don't have a pond anymore. So you got to keep the leaves moving, get them out of the water. This is what happens when you let everything go to seed in here. So I plant the seeds, but obviously tons of weed seeds. So I have to do a whole bunch of weeding and just choose the few that make it. But there's a bunch of, I mean, these are all volunteer collard greens. And this is some, no, that's not it. This is something. You can tell the leaves are just a little bit different. These are brassica seedling leaves. So they're easy to distinguish once you know what you're looking for, but requires a bunch of thinning out. These are all kale. Pretty much just do that and then wait a while and then do it again once you find the biggest winners. This is an ornamental bush, but it certainly has some pretty cool colors.